Good morning. We're talking about being a nursing assistant. And there's some takeaways from this chapter for all of us. Um, and those takeaways are how to work as a team and establishing principles and priorities and self care. I'll present the nutshell version of chapter two. Um, so, as with anything, if you're an assistant, you have a specific job, and that will be described in your or detailed in your job description, and that should fall under your scope of practice. Scope of practice is what somebody is trained to do and certified to do. And there's things that nursing assistants are trained and certified to do. And there's a lot of things they are not. So that's why, for more money, people go and become a licensed practical nurse or an RN or so on and so forth. So, proper bed making is one of the skills that you would learn at a retirement home or a Delaware County Community College or a Penn State or in any school with nursing. And really, that's something assistants can do. And that's where, in retirement homes where they're not always given meds and long term care facilities where they need patient care quite frequently, um, assistants can fulfill that role. So one of the things my cousins always said, if you can't move people or want to deal with people, healthcare is probably not for you. But it is an industry, and there's plenty of things for everybody to do. So OBRA stands for the Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act, and this established training to be an assistant. 75 hours of training, 16 hours of practice, specific guidelines for class content, and how to keep skills current. So it's, as you can see, 75 hours of training, it's only 2 weeks of work. So you could become an assistant and make good money. I have friends who are nursing assistants. But if you want to make great money, you would want to keep going to school. So everyone in healthcare answers to HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. It's federal law that protects patient information. Patient protects patient information. It says it must be kept confidential. That means private and safe. And this came about because health insurance companies and employers were using people's health history against them. Um, so there's a need to know rule. Who needs to know what's going on with you? And there's many cases of discrimination based on what people have wrong with them, and HIPAA helps protect that. And if you're really interested in this subject, there's lots of movies and books out there. But when you go into a doctor's office, you sign off on HIPAA. For them to access your health insurance information, you have to give them permission. That doesn't mean you're giving it to your employer. Every patient, all patients have rights. They have the right to considerate care, respect, confidentiality, and they have the right to refuse treatment. So where does that come in? Well, let's say someone's terminally ill. They have the right to refuse treatment. And there's a lot of rules and laws, and every facility has its own policies. Patients have the right to say no. Residents. So in long-term care facilities, residents have their own rights. And unfortunately, here in the United States and a lot large parts of the world, people are often abused. Still are to this day. And so we have to be able to stand up. And we want to remember that people have have the right to a freedom from abuse. It sounds awful to say. The right to be free of inappropriate restraints. So somebody can't be tied down against their will if they're not a danger to themselves or others. The right to file complaints and the right to receive visitors and manage your own money. So you can imagine how people's rights were abused. And that's what Chapter 2 talks about. Chapter 2 also talks about how a nursing assistant can take care of themselves. Um, and that's also important. And then from there, Chapter 2, when there's personal skills and taking care of themselves, rolls into communication and interpersonal skills. Thank you. Have a good day.